This is an instructional video on how to use the eisspoint web portal for configuring your eissbox. If you've connected your eissbox to the internet and set an IP address or using DHCP, the device will now connect to eisspoint. Using the credentials and the link provided in the initial email, you'll be able to log into this portal and come here. You'll notice right here that you'll have a list of the eissboxes that are under your account. This is why it's important that you match if you are an existing customer so that all of these appear in one spot. You'll notice that the name of the box is the serial number. The group would be your company name. The status would be online or offline. These are all demonstration boxes and they're all offline. You'll notice that you have the capability to reboot the device. If for some reason the device gets in a state that it's not working correctly, the most common solution is to reboot. This allows you to do this remotely without having to go to the device and do it. Very useful for installations that are far away. This is managed by box. You can use this or simply double click and get into the box. Edit the box is typically only used by administrators, and delete the box would only be done if you no longer wanted this box. If we go to the device and we open it, you'll notice that you have many options. You have managed software components, OpenADR settings, programs, resource and event handling, meters, utilities, network settings. You'll see that you have file uploads, box downloads, view requests, and request uploads. Some of these features are only used by administrators, like managed software components, file uploads, but most of them are set. The first setting that would be interesting to you is OpenADR settings. You'll be given a URL from the utility that you're connecting to, and you'll paste it here. If you're required to use password, you'll click that and a password dialog will come up and allow you to enter in your username, password, and confirm password. If you're using certificates for authentication, this is done automatically. Report duration, report granularity, and max report typically do not need to be changed, but these are set by some for uploading meter data. Save VEN ID. VEN IDs can be either assigned verbally by the utility, they can be automatically assigned by the VTN, or they can be assigned by you. The most common way is to let the VTN assign. Honeywell servers require you to persist this VEN ID for the entire time that it's connected, so you would use Save VEN ID. After making the first connection, a VEN ID will appear here. You'll be required to take this VEN ID and give it to the provisioning server so that they can identify your box and complete the registration period. This box has the ability to be both an OpenADR 2.0A or 2.0B. The principal difference between those two standards are B allows for the remote monitoring of meter data, and A is simple levels. If we go back to the box, the next one is programs. Typically, accept all programs is the choice that you'll make here. However, if you are both enrolled in more than one program and have different behaviors based on the program, in other words, you want one relay to tell you when, say, the PG&E BIP program is being called, and another relay to tell you when the PG&E CBP program is being called, because you behave differently for each program, you would then add those. You simply press the button and enter the name. It is critical that the name be exactly what the utility is going to send. We suggest using cutting and pasting to do this. If you spell this wrong, add an extra space, or do anything that is not exactly what the utility is sending, then the box will think that you're not receiving an event for that program and will not make the relays click. So it's very important to get this exact. As I said before, accept all programs is the normal behavior. Then we get to resources and event handling. This is how you set the behavior of the relays so that they will click based on what your request is. You start out by pressing plus. You then say that you want to add a relay pattern. You can add many relay patterns. You select the relay that you'd like to configure. If you're doing it for all programs, you leave this default, but if you have specified a program, it'll be available in the drop-down menu. The event state. The most common use of a relay is to tell you when the program is active. In other words, it activates at the beginning of the event and it deactivates at the end of the event. So you would say all programs active for a level that equals normally programs are high. So this would be if you receive an event from any program, relay number 1 for a high signal will become that. If you wanted relay number 1 to also click for moderate level events, that's very simple to configure there. If you wanted the same relay 1 to click for normal events, you just add another one. So it's very easy to make it. You could say that relay 2 would click for normal and relay 1 would click for high and moderate. So very easy to configure. Some of the other options here are pending. Pending is when the device is aware that an event has been sent to it. Some programs are 30-minute notice, 2-hour notice, or day-ahead notice. If this is a day-ahead program, this will click a full day before. Many people use this just to be aware that an event is coming and do some preparing. For short notice programs, many people use this to start their load shed in the pending state. If we go back to meters, eissbox3 has the ability to read up to 6 meters. You press plus, you give it a meter name. The most common name is meter 1, meter 2, meter 3, but this could also be the utility assigned meter name. You then click on the one that is applying to what you want to do. If you press the question mark, you'll see that a schematic diagram of the icebox with the relays across the top, and down the left side are relays, are inputs 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The center terminal here is ground and will not receive meter data. It is extremely important to gain the multiplier. The multiplier will be written on the enclosure that you connect to receive these meter pulses. It can also be written on the wall on the meter nearby. Without this information, the default is 1, and the meter data is unlikely to be correct. We now have utilities. We've been requested to add certain capabilities. Things like we'd like to be able to sound a horn or a siren or a flashing beacon when the received event came in, but not for many days. Perhaps we just like to blow it for, say, 5 seconds. So we could select the relay that we'd like to use, and we could have received event for 5 seconds. We could use it to do a ramping thing. Ramping is known as devices having a certain amount of time they need to know before they're shut down. This is very common in compressors and large ammonia pumps or big processes. So you can say that I'd like to know 5 minutes before an event for 5 minutes, I'd like relay 4 to trigger. This would give you 5-minute notice that would run until the beginning of the event. You might like to blow a horn when the event starts, and you can set up that I'd like the horn to blow for 30 seconds at the start of the event and perhaps another 30 seconds at the end of the event. So you have an announcement to tell you when the events start. These have been configured based on requests that people have asked. You also have the ability to set COM status. Some critical loads, it's very important to know that the device is communicating with the VTN. It could be that you've lost internet capability and you're no longer connecting, or the server is down, or something like that. If you enable COM status and select a relay, this relay will close during the time that you have a connection and will relax if you lose the connection, thereby notifying you that you do not have a solid connection. Time of use is under development right now. It's going to have additional capabilities, but this is designed to click the relays that you assign for particular times of day. This is common where from noon to 6 p.m. you pay a higher dollar value for power than you do normally. So you can enter in the start time, the end time, so this would be noon to 6 p.m. You can select the days of the week that it applies. You can do the start date, say June 1st, and the end date, say October 1st, and put that in. And that will allow the relay to close. Once again, this is under development and further capabilities will be added. If we go back to network settings, the device, if it's connected to the network and has reported its condition, will list the IP address here. This is useful that you can tell network administrators exactly what IP address is without actually physically touching the box. View requests. If you have sent a request to the Icebox to change a configuration and it is not immediately connected, it'll show up in pending requests. After you've done it, it'll show up in completed requests. Request uploads. This is the ability to receive remote information from the box. Things like configuration files, log files, syslog files. You simply select the files that you're looking for and send the request. When the box is online, it will upload those files in a zip format. It is important to note that some of these files can be quite large, and if this box is connected via cellular, these could incur data charge overages, so be very selective on what you upload. The result of these uploads show up in box downloads, and they'll show up as a zip file containing the files that you've requested. File uploads allows you to update components, updates, and configurations. This is an administrator function and is handled by managed software components. This allows us to remotely update the device, and again is only done by administrators. That is